This mutation is called Endless Infection, and it is being played on Void Launch. We have 3 mutators active. We have Black Death, Alien Incubation, and we have Walking Infested. So, basically what's gonna happen is whenever enemy units spawn and attack the players, when they die, they will generate these infested units, and they will also generate the broodlings. And this also compounds with the Black Death mutators. So not only do the enemy base units have the plague debuff, but it also the broodlings and the infested. There is a chance that these things would also have the debuff there. You see, Swann has already built his factories. Fast built his factory. He's taking out his first refinery now. Over here we have Vorazun with the double assimilators here, and this commander pair seems to work reasonably, very effectively. The extra gas that Swann is able to generate from his automatic Vespene harvesters, these Vespene harvesting bots here, it can significantly make Vorazun's army stronger. Given that Vorazun is a very, very gas-heavy commander, the only one thing you need to be careful of is when you are playing with the Black Death mutator as Vorazun, your emergency recall can end up getting your probes all killed. So the emergency recall ability for Vorazun is whenever a unit takes fatal damage, it gets recalled to the Nexus. Now, when you have Black Death as a mutator, what can happen is that if your unit dies to Black Death, it doesn't actually end up dying because of Vorazun's emergency recall, and it will end up being recalled to your Nexus. And when that unit will eventually die, it can end up infecting all your probes, and you'll end up losing your full mineral line. So it is one thing that you have to be careful of when you choose to do this. There are a few ways that you can avoid it. It is by building a second Nexus and then destroying your primary Nexus and then rebuilding it. That changes the Nexus which the game will recall your probes to. But that is a little bit of a cheesy strategy, and you'll have to. It requires a little bit of effort. So you see here, there's a black hole here with two of these flaming betties. They should end up clearing out these zealots. You can see a lot of these plague effects being thrown off from broodlings, but those things were able to be handled. Vorazun has taken her expansion with the Shadow Guard here. They've ended up cleaning up that side, and Swann is focused firing down his expansion rocks with the drill, so that ends up getting cleaned up as well. And these units have been cleaned up. The Flaming Betties have been salvaged for the extra resources. We can see that a Chrono Boost has been put down onto this laser drill, and the laser drill is researching the concentrated beam upgrade. So there we go, concentrated beam is done now. So Swann is rushing the drill upgrades, which is very important if you want to be able to deal with the attack waves. But we see what the commander's plan is when it comes to dealing with this mutator set. Very convenient to go for a static defense build. If you want, even if you are playing against this mutator, but it is very, very tricky to get a good amount of static defense such that it does not get lost to the enemy units here. And now there is a ping on Swann here. I think Swann is telling Vorazun to go ahead and take this. Yeah, so he's basically telling telling Vorazun, go ahead, take my gases. I don't really need it. There's a black hole that comes down to this attack wave again, stalling this attack wave. And now we have a concentrated beam that gets sent off, and all these areas now just get infected with a Black Death mutator, because that is how nasty this mutator is. These units will be taking damage and eventually be dying off. Goal here is to just clear these units, the broodlings here. Now, these broodlings are actually coming from the base, which is kind of funny. The concentrated beam went straight through this base and one-shot like a lot of probes and a lot of other units here. So there's a trickle spawn now of infested and broodlings. But you can see here the flaming betties are really, really effective at dealing with this trickle of units. And now we have the first shuttle that has spawned. We see the drill is still focused firing down these rocks. Not a priority for Swann, because Swann doesn't need these rocks. It's just going to be an extra added bonus for Vorazun, and he's going for the pulse cannon upgrade now. There we go, ping. This is done. Go ahead, take my gas, and now Vorazun will be operating on a 6 gas economy, which is significantly better for Vorazun rather than the 4 gas economy that she normally has. Reduction wise, we can see that yeah, Swann is basically going for full static defense build. So some spinning dizzies coming up here at the top, And there's one Flaming Betty at the start here. That Flaming Betty is not enough to be able to hold the attack wave, so I'm not. There might be a pulse cannon coming down to deal with this next attack wave that will be spawning. Although it might be a little bit less effective, but there we go. The attack wave is coming, and I think it's gonna make its way towards Vorazun's base, and this is where problems can happen now. Vorazun is going for Void Rays, which is an okay build, but to be honest, Vorazun is not very effective at dealing with this Mutator set. So you can see here, Pulse Cannon has come down, and now there's a Black Hole to go ahead and deal with this. And I think Vorazun is also building the Dark Shrine, so this attack wave does end up taking out one of Vorazun's cannons. A time stop has come down. That shuttle wave has been handled because there's basically nothing with it. But now there is a problem. There is another black hole that comes down to stall this attack wave, and now a concentrated beam comes out as well to just go ahead and deal with that. The attack wave has been cleaned up, but it costs up a lot of abilities. So I think a concentrated beam and a pulse cannon and a time stop, and I think maybe 1 or 2 black holes may have been dropped just to deal with that attack wave, because the attack wave did not go where it was. It did not go down the central lane. But now this, I think the next shell wave will start to spawn, and we'll see how the commanders choose to deal with this. Yeah, we have 4 Stargates that have come out now, and this Vorazun can actually afford to go for these 4 Stargates because not only does she have the extra gas income from the assimilators from her ally, but she also has Swann's Vespine harvesters, which is giving her a lot of gas. You can see over here, Vorazun is actually mineral starved, not gas starved, which is pretty insane. And now Vorazun will have to be careful. She is using the Void Rays to deal with to push into the enemy bases, which is fine, but stuff like that can happen now, and all these Void Rays have been infected with the Black Death Mutator. And as you can see, Black Death ignores the shields, it doesn't deal any shield damage, it deals direct damage to the hull, so these Void Rays are pretty much a lost cause. There's an attack wave that has spawned here. I wonder if a Black Hole will come down to stall this, because these Void Rays are pretty much anyway gone. Okay, there we go. There's a Black Hole, which is pretty much well positioned here. These Flaming Bays are dealing a little bit of damage to the units here, and putting up. But these Void Rays have gone down to the Black Death. You know, these Immortals are just gonna end up completely smashing through these structures here, because these structures do not stand a chance against them. These Immortals actually do a lot of damage. A lot of people underestimate how much damage these things do. But there we go. We have a bunch of spinning dizzies now to go ahead and deal with the shuttle wave. There's still a ground force that needs to be dealt with, and this force is pretty terrifying as well. Like 3 Immortals on the back line and 1 hybrid here. And there is a black hole that comes down, but there is nothing to deal damage here to these units. The single damage focus fire down from the laser drill is not enough to handle that attack wave. And these static defenses will end up going down too. And now there is another attack wave that spawned out the back there. Concentrated beam does come down, ends up wiping a lot of these units. Hybrid's still standing strong here, and there are a lot of broodlings now. And these broodlings are going up.
Are under attack.
I really do not understand the AI pathing sometimes. But yeah, there's a lot of zombies coming their way. And now there's a bunch of Dark Archons here, which is an interesting choice, because I think he wants to try and take control of the Immortals and just take them off, take them away from play. These broodlings are attacking these spinning dizzies, and these spinning dizzies cannot fight back. On this side, there is a lot of carnage coming up here. There is a Flaming Betty on here, so it should be able to hold a little bit. These SCVs unfortunately have been infected by the Black Death Mutator, and they will try and auto-repair and will cost you a lot of minerals if you're not paying attention. So what you should be doing is disabling the auto-repair on these SCVs, so they will not end up repairing themselves and just end up dying off. So that is one way you can deal with with this. Now, the one advantage is if you are playing Swann, Swann doesn't actually his repair is free. So it'll not affect Swann very much to have these SCVs repairing. But if you're playing another Terran commander, Nova or Raynor, make sure you turn off the auto repair. Otherwise, these SCVs will start repairing each other, and it'll cost you a lot of resources. So that's a Swann advantage for you. It doesn't have to do that, but you make sure that you are paying attention if you're playing a Terran commander against the Black Death Mutator. So the Ares gets dropped now onto these broodlings to just handle what was left. I don't know where those broodlings came from, but I think it might have been some remnants of the attack wave. And now they're just gonna get thrown into the bonus objective here, just to clean up that area. And as you can see, commanders are slowly starting to get a foothold in this mission. So there are a few spinning dizzies here to deal with the shuttle wave, and we have a lot of SCVs coming up here to just fast build these static defenses, so they can go ahead and start cleaning up the attack wave and the shuttle wave that'll be coming up that side. Unfortunately, these I think this Archon has been hit by the Black Death Mutator. Yeah, so these two are basically also lost cause. It makes it really painful. There is a pulse scan that gets dropped here, and these Void Rays are, unfortunately, I think they're a little bit too close to these hybrids. They might get infected by the Black Death Mutator here, since these ones are infected already. And now these spinning daisies are going to be cleaning up the shuttle wave here. So again, lots of infested do get spawned. But these flaming berries are really good at dealing with the broodlings and the infested Terrans that are spawning. So there's a little bit of a split there on Vorazun, just taking out these Void Rays, just getting them away. And now Swann decided to also throw his SCVs here, because it's really annoying to have a bunch of infected units. They're just walking around. It can inevitably infect your allies' army. It can inevitably infect the rest of your SCVs, and then your SCVs end up repairing each other rather than repairing your own static defenses, as you can see over here, which can cause a few problems. So these guys are going to start repairing each other now, and it does mess with the AI a little bit when it comes to repairing the static defenses. So he's going to end up, I think he's trying to lower some of these units over there to just clean up that side. I think these SVs are also going to all be a write-off, and they'll probably end up getting thrown away if they're not building other stuff here. So that is where it gets a little bit tricky. But as you can see, what Swann has done over here is he has he's spawn camped this attack wave spawn point. So there are two attack wave spawn points on this mission. There's one here, and there's one over here. So just putting down your static defense here means that this attack wave doesn't end up going and harassing your ally, which can make life a little bit easier. Another nice black hole gets dropped onto this attack wave, just ends up getting caught by the flaming bays, and yeah. Now, one thing you can do if you want is you can put down a few siege tanks at the back. But you have to be really careful that broodlings do not get like aggroed to your siege tank. So siege tanks have a lot of aggro priority. So what can happen is that the broodlings will get infected with they will have the Black Death Mutator, and they'll run towards your siege tank and infect your siege tank, and then your siege tank ends up dying. Now these hybrid dominators are over here, and those things are really terrifying. And there's a shuttle wave here, but the shuttle wave seems to have been handled easily. But these hybrid dominators are going to cause a problem. There are a bunch of Ares drops here to just draw a little bit of aggro away from these blaster billies, so these blaster billies can focus fire down some of these infested Terrans. Should be focused firing down on the hybrid dominator, but I don't think Swann was looking at this side, because Swann has to deal with a lot of junk that's coming his way now, and now there's an attack wave here as well. And that one Archon has gone down. I think this one is also. I think this one's also been infected. Yeah, this one has also been infected, which is unfortunate. And yeah, Swann's basically throwing his SCVs into this area just to make sure he doesn't have to deal with the with this basically Black Death Mutator. Black Death is really annoying to deal with, very difficult. And we can see here, Swann has built a wall, and he's gonna make Amon pay for it right there. So there we go. There is a wall spinning daisies, so this will be able to deal with a lot of the air units that are there, and hopefully this side will be able to handle the ground units. So he's basically got everything covered. On here we have a few Void Rays for Vorazun. Vorazun is trying to build up her army count. She keeps losing the Void Rays to Black Death Mutator, and Vorazun is a very difficult commander to play against Black Death. It is a very unfavorable matchup, and you have to be really careful that you do not end up losing your entire mineral line to some random emergency recalls. But you can see what Vorazun has done over here is she has split up her army. She has units all over the map in just small clumps. So if she does get hit by the Black Death Mutator, she doesn't end up losing in her entire army force here. A bunch of Dark Archons here is a very nice tech choice, just to try and take some Immortals out of play. And that is an attack wave that has been spawned, but the pulse cannon has come down, ends up wiping out pretty much all the ground units. Ground units get, and the Broodlings and the Infested gets cleaned up by the Flaming Betties, and those Hybrid Dominators stand no chance against the Blast Abilities that are there. And now we have a bunch of tuna fish hybrids that are sitting here and harassing these static defenses. Because unfortunately, there are no anti-air defenses. There's a concentrated beam that gets dropped here, and these broodlings will aggro these flaming betties, and these flaming betties will end up cleaning these units up. I think there should be a bunch of infested that are making their way. Yeah, there we go. The infested are a little bit slower, so you get a first wave of broodlings, and then you get a second wave of infested units that come in. If you really want to have some fun, play these two mutators, the walking infested and the alien incubation undead at night, and you're in for a bit of a treat. There we go. So overall, the commanders seem to have stabilized in this mission, so it should not be too difficult from this point on in the mission. It's just they have to be careful that they do not end up losing these static defenses and just forgetting to replace them, because these static defenses do end up getting lost. There are a lot of spinning disease over here, because that is absolutely insane. So nothing is going to be going through here, but this is in preparation for the last attack wave, which is pretty nasty as well. I'd like to see a little bit more anti-ground defenses, because I don't think this is going to be able to hold without... I think the plan is to use the pulse cannon and the concentrated beam to just weaken the attack waves here, and just use the flaming betties to end up cleaning up this side. So there is another bonus objective here. This bonus objective will be saved now, and now there's an attack wave that has spawned. But this attack wave gets caught up by the static defenses of Swann on here, and now there's a large attack wave here that has ended up taking out a lot of the defenses here for Swann. But now there's a time stop. So time stop is useful. There's a focus fire down on these blast release on these hybrid dominators, so these dominators will end up going down. There's one more left. I think that guy may be able to get his skill off there, but now there is a black hole. Black hole is one of the most powerful abilities that Vorazun has. Very, very useful and very, very versatile in what you want to use it for. There we go. But the hybrid dominator is still alive, and I don't know if okay, there we go. So that hybrid dominator doesn't get cleaned up, and yeah, the shuttle wave will be defended with relative ease. Be very careful that these broodlings do not aggro these dark archons like that. There we go. These two dark archons have been infected right now, because it's very, very difficult to make sure you don't get infected by these units. You need to make... The commanders that work really well with Black Death are those that have disposable units. So commanders like Abathur with a swarm host and Stukov with his free infested don't really get affected by Black Death. The reason why I chose these two commanders is because these commanders are difficult to play on this meteor set. I just want to show you that with good play, yeah, but any commander can beat these mutations. So that is why you do not see Stukov and Abathur or something with their swarm hosts or something. I want to show interest in commander play. You can see here Swann's gone for a static defense build. So obviously static defenses are not affected by Black Death, but Swann will now have to scramble and build a lot of defenses here to make sure that this triple wave is going to be handled. So the pulse cannon is ready and good to go for this attack wave. I'm pretty sure this it's going to be coming down right on top of this attack wave as soon as the attack wave spawns. There we go, attack wave has spawned, and there we go, there's the pulse cannon. Pulse cannon instantly wipes out all the units out there except for the hybrids. So now you only have to deal with the hybrids on this side. Over here, these Void Rays have been infected by the Black Death. I think they might be able to handle this shuttle wave. Oh no, unfortunately these things get focus fired down, so that is going to end up being lost. I think these three shuttles are going to end up escaping on this side, because unfortunately Vorazun's army was not strong enough to get away there. Over here, nothing is going to get through this side, and now there's only air units here. So let's have a look quickly on here, see what's going to happen. A bunch of oracles start to Disco Inferno onto the static defenses, but that is not enough. There's a black hole here, traps the hybrid at the back while the units get focus fired down onto the while they focus fired down the shuttles, and now these shuttles are just going to melt away because there's nothing there that is going to stop. So 3 shuttles did manage to escape, and Vorazun is being harassed here, but that is enough for a mission victory. Those are the shuttles destroyed, and that is GG.